What is up YouTube, and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. We are back with a tier list and we have a massive upset. We have Warwick as the best pick of the patch in the Baron lane. So far I have not found a singular lane counter for Warwick in top lane, as well as him in solo queue being way too overtuned. He has infinite sustain. If you want to check out how he's really played, check out my recent Warwick video. It's like 3 games in sequence of absolute Warwick domination in different matchups, even the most obscure ones. Anyway, most definitely put this champion onto your radar. It's absolutely insane, or please ban him. And while you're at it, please leave a like for that video so it boosts the algorithm so people just watch this more often and realize that I should rather ban Warwick than other champions. You also spit into Mordekaiser's face, by the way. Other champions that are still super busted are still the same. Nothing much has changed in the Baron lane, just one champion got a little bit weaker there, and it's Kalista. For Kalista, you really need to perform super well, like a stellar performance, to be a top lane difference maker. And if the enemy just has any idea what they're doing, they can simply pick champions like Malphite or champions like Gragas, and your life is completely over. You simply cannot play. As per usual, stick with the S tier champions or what's labeled as the pick of the patch, and for other champions, stay away. Also feel free to check out our partners in the description below if you want to save big time on skins. You can most definitely save so much on skins, so feel free to do that as well. Just use Kirks up to 20 as a code. Everything is in the description for that one. For the tanks, we still have Mordekaiser as the best option there. He simply performs the best up there and is really powerful when it comes to dealing with tanks and overall damage mitigation. He's also very good at isolating people. He can just put them into his baby rage jail and then they're stuck there with them and they usually lose. Other champions for the top lane have not seen many other changes, so here we are yet again. Thanks to the changes, we still have Talon as the best champion in the jungle department, but he's gotten a few heavy contenders. Shyvana has been becoming super strong with the recent update, making one of the most powerful picks within the S tier. Another pick that is absurdly powerful is Warwick as well. In the jungle, he can be played either as a tank, as a bruiser, as an AP champion. You completely have the freedom of choice, and his ganks are super consistent now simply because you can't dodge them unless you have QSS. If he touches you, you're probably dead because the base damage of this champion is so high, you simply get a one shot. And then the problem happens that you get completely snowballed on. Other champions, such as Vi, are still super powerful. Kindred requires you to be very good at the champion, but still, like every champion within the S tier is more than good enough. And if I see another one of these people putting Kayle and Nyla into like S++ tier, or even better, we just put Kayle into S+ tier and then suddenly put Nyla into B tier, brothers and brothers and sisters. These are the same type of champions. Both will perform equally well if the game isn't played. If you get into late game with either of these champions, you usually win, with Nyla even more than with Kayle. But that's just how it is. For the A tier champions, you usually should stay away from them. I'm not really much of a fan of them, but you can still play them. For example, Echo, even though he got buffed on his first ability, got a slight adjustment in the jungle, making it, I think, still a little bit faster than before, but he's still a lot better in mid lane than he is in the jungle department. As per usual, B tier, just go away with them. And for the tank tier, we have the Volibear, the Maokai, the Amumu. Like, all these champions simply remain the same and nothing much has changed. Maybe we can even think about adding Narcissus here just for fun, but I don't really see the need of doing so. But if you want to, I'm more than glad to do so. Maybe in the next stream I'll just make a more detailed list that is just more differentiated, like more tiers and stuff, and we just do it together. Let's see where we go. For the mid lane, we have, after the Heimerdinger nerfs, still Syndra as the best possible mage, but immediately after we have Heimerdinger. And every mage is an absolute victim to Annie, keep that in mind. But also at the same time, Galio is an absolute enemy of all mages at the same time as well. So every champion within the S tier is surely more than pickable, but please stick to Heimerdinger and Syndra if you truly want to 1v9 the game, or a Galio game if you feel that the enemy has a lot of magic damage and you just want to one-shot them. For Zoe, you need to be very good at the champion, and for Reliant Soul, you need to understand in which compositions you play him into and why you pick him, and most of the time it's better off if you're just a one-track. With Lux, you can't really do too much wrong because assassins mid lane aren't played usually, like you rarely see Zed and the likes of these assassins there, so Lux can really get away with murder most of the time, just throwing around her little silly abilities. Champions within the A tier are usually only picked within, like, under certain circumstances, but most of the time, the only champion that is picked here, or the only two champions that are picked here, are Gragas and Morgana under the right circumstances. Any other champion simply isn't picked. Within the B tier, we have a few champions that I want to talk about for a second. Seraphine is a champion that you can definitely put into a higher tier, I absolutely agree, but the issue with the champion is, up until she has Luden's Echo, her wave clear is really bad. And I really don't like the way the champion is played, but I still believe she can definitely be a contender within the A tier, 100%. But that's it, higher she will not go. Any other champion within the B tier, please do yourself a favor and stay away from them on this specific position. For the Assassin, we have Echo as the best champion currently because of his insane wave clear and just overall Awakened Soul Sinner being so broken on him. You can instantly clear the first wave with 2 of your first abilities, you throw it in as the wave walks in, you have it back after a few seconds, and then you can go anywhere you want. You can invade, you can bully people, just feel free to do whatever you want. And yeah, any champion within the S tier is more than pickable. Champions within the A tier require a lot of conditions and you should rather stay away from them. They're all like more for fun picks, unless we talk about Zed. Zed is not a bad pick, but he really struggles in the meta. Like, you really can't get anything done compared to any of the other AP assassins. You simply don't want a Zed on your team most of the time. Onwards to the other tier. Here we have Yasuo still at the pinnacle, so if you want to pick anything else, well, ban the Yasuo. Maokai only stays within S tier if you play duo with a jungle. Anything else, and he is gone, he doesn't exist. Other champions such as AD carries, for example, Varus, Tristana and Sivir are pretty good picks. Then we have the Teemo, which is really good into other picks of the mid lane, like for example these AD carries, so we have these champions just dealing with themselves. Within the A tier we have champions that are less like ordinary or less common or less potent, but still useful, like for example a Kai'Sa's very good mid lane in terms of wave clear compared to anywhere else. Corki only provides damage, but you still get the idea here. And champions within the B tier usually don't provide anything, they just exist for fun. Like, they don't really do much if you compare them with the Apex champions up there. Like, you really don't want to pick them if you want to strictly play for winning, you just pick them basically for fun. Now onwards to the AD carry tier list, and here we have Lucian as the best champion, and the reason is quite simple. This champion has been overtuned. He lost I think 6 to 8 base AD, but gains so much more damage on his passive. It's like I think 20 magic damage flat, plus 20% AD scaling on top. So if you pair him up with an enchanter or any engage support that is reliable enough, you will get one shot on cooldown from a damage profile that is magical, physical, and true damage alike. So you can't really itemize against him as well. It just depends on how good the Lucian is, and in most cases it doesn't even matter because it's too much damage anyway. For the S tier, not much has changed. Not really going to say anything about this because really nothing has changed, but for the A tier we need to talk about the A tier, okay. Zeri inherently is a very good champion. The issue in solo queue is she needs 3 items to carry, and that is not very potent in a normal solo queue environment. If you get to these 3 items, you usually get to win very easily, so that's the very, very big advantage. Caitlyn is completely overhyped and way weaker than people believe she is. It requires so many things for Caitlyn to be good, and Kalista is a very compositional champion that requires very certain champions to be picked that don't have like super annoying CC and are maybe even short-ranged or melee based. And any other champion you should rather stay away from. As for Mav, you can basically pick her as well. She doesn't deserve B tier. I would say she's a weaker A tier because she still doesn't really like the rework she has gotten. But yeah, I would not pick MF, but MF has a really good laning phase nowadays, so here's that. Also, don't forget the champions within the tier list are not ordered, so even though MF is at the highest point of the A tier, she is definitely not the best pick out of there. Now for mages. Heimerdinger is probably still the best AP carry champion you can have in bot lane, but it's arguable. The champion is so easy to pilot, has so much impact and so much setup, it's like unlimited potential, similar to, well, to Syndra. But yeah, it requires you to maybe understand a little bit about the game. For other champions, you need to understand a lot more, which makes them weaker compared to the other options. For example, Zoe and Karma don't really deserve to be in the S tier, but the potential they have make them a lot stronger. Now here you see Seraphine in the S tier, but it's mainly because she's paired up with another champion that she can bolster, and they can insta-clear waves together and have insane CC setup. Because for example, in the mid lane, Seraphine has to invest 2 stacks of her passive, she has to invest her passive into using the stun or the root of her third ability, But with a support, she usually gains the ability to just root them with just them applying the slow for her. Also on top of that, due to the ability of supports usually giving you a lot of CC, which makes it very likely that you're hitting all of your spells, or basically guarantees it, you are going to deal so much more damage because everything you do will hit now. And that is the powerful point about these mages in the bot lane. Plus they gain just farm from hyper range, scale for free, clear waves, and make it very hard for the enemy to regain footing or play objectives at all. Now for the support, we have to talk about the most broken champions here. Nautilus and every champion from the S tier is just unbelievably busted. All of these champions are too good, and we don't even have to, well, talk about them because barely anything ever changes here. Nothing changed, by the way. For the Protect tier, we have Milio as the best, Lulu, and obviously Yuumi. Other champions like Nami Lucian are insane, Braum is an insane counterpick into the engaged champions, Seraphine is annoying to deal with, even Morgana can have value depending on the entire enemy draft's composition. For example, they have Nautilus, they have Vi, they have all of these champions that want to go on one target, and you can completely deny this. That is something that makes Morgana good, but only under these conditions. It's similar to mid lane, by the way. But now, let's talk about the carry positions. Karma is simply the best here. She's so much better than anything else. She's reliable, she's powerful, and she just one-shots you if you make a singular mistake. Pyke is similar, but Pyke requires a lot more mechanical prowess to be executed properly. Plus, you can't really blind pick him unless you're a one-trick. But let's quickly talk about the purpose of the different champions within the S tier. Senna is a lane-dominant demon that wants to snowball ahead, become tanky, and just one-shot you while providing heals and shields. The Lissandra wants to lock down people and make the game unplayable, which is very good into melee supports. Ashe is very good if you want to have like super long-range engage while having a very powerful laning phase. It's very difficult to win against an Ashe. She runs you down, she has the ultimate, she has vision control, she has everything. Heimerdinger has a lot of damage and just less damage than the AP carry variant because he has less gold, but still enough to just completely own you. Not as much as before though. Lux is just an annoying champion, but again, in a solo queue environment, these champions are very powerful to be played, but in a competitive environment, you would probably not play any of these champions and you'd rather default to engage supports. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel and come back for more RiftGuides content. Thank you very much, leave a like and comment, and we'll see each other for more streams very soon. Take care.